She said maybe we should break up in front of her friends like it was a joke. Like it was a game she expected me to play along with. We were standing in Lisa and Mark's kitchen, music low, wine glasses half full. Her friend Jessica leaned against the counter, watching me the way people watch a dog they're not sure is trained. My wife, Emily, didn't look nervous. She looked curious. Jessica had been talking all night about independence, about how some men fall apart without their wives. She said she had told Emily that I would not last a week on my own, that I was too comfortable, too settled, too dependent. Emily laughed and said maybe we should test that. Maybe we should take a break. She said it lightly, but she did not blink. The room went quiet in a way that felt staged, like they were waiting for my reaction, for anger, for pleading, for proof. I looked at her, really looked at her. She expected me to argue, to ask what she meant, to remind her of the house, the plans, the trips we had booked for the fall. Instead, I nodded once. I told her that if she wanted a breakup, we could make it real. Jessica's smile faded first. Emily's came a second later, like she thought I was still playing along. I was not. I set my glass down, picked up my jacket, and walked out of Mark's house without raising my voice. Behind me, I heard Emily say my name. She did not follow. By the time I got home, Emily had already started texting. First it was light. She wrote that I should not be dramatic. Then she wrote that her friends had put the idea in her head. Then she asked why I had walked out without saying anything else. I did not answer. The house felt different that night. Not empty, just rearranged. I slept in the guest room without announcing it. In the morning, she stood in the doorway holding her phone like it was evidence. She said Jessica thought I was trying to scare her. She said Mark told her I would cool off by lunch. I nodded and left for work. At noon, I got a message from Ryan, a guy I had known since college. He worked in commercial real estate and sometimes crossed paths with Emily's firm. He asked if everything was okay at home. He said he had seen Emily the week before at a downtown bar. Not alone. He kept it casual. Said maybe it was nothing. Said maybe I already knew. I thanked him and told him I appreciated the heads up. That evening, Emily was unusually calm. She cooked dinner. She talked about a client meeting. She did not mention the bar. She did not mention any man. When her phone lit up on the counter, I saw a name I did not recognize. Jason. She turned the screen face down without breaking her sentence. I did not ask who he was, but something inside the room had shifted, and this time it was not a test. The next morning, Emily left her laptop open on the dining table while she showered. She had never been careless with her devices. That was new. I was not shaking when I sat down. I was not angry. I just opened the screen a little wider. Her messages were still there. Jason's name filled the sidebar. It was not subtle. It was not professional. He had sent a photo from a hotel lounge downtown. She had replied with a time. He had written that he missed the way she looked at him across a table. She had told him she felt alive again. There were weeks of it. Lunches that ran long. Client dinners that ended after midnight. Jokes about how easy it was to fool someone who trusted her. My name was not written often. When it was followed by the word predictable. I closed the laptop gently before the shower stopped running. That afternoon, I called Ryan back. I asked him about Jason. He said Jason had just been promoted. Said he liked attention. Said he had a habit of stepping into married spaces and acting like he owned them. I thanked him again and hung up. That evening, Emily tried to kiss me when she got home. I stepped aside and asked if we were still talking about that breakup. She blinked like she had forgotten she started it. I told her we should discuss logistics soon. For the first time, she looked unsure. The following morning, I moved quietly. While Emily was getting ready for work, I called the bank and separated my direct deposit into a new account under my name only. I did not freeze anything. I did not make a scene. I just redirected the flow. By lunch, I had scheduled a meeting with an attorney Ryan recommended. Not to threaten, not to warn, just to understand the map. That evening, I packed a small suitcase and placed it by the closet door. I did not hide it. Emily noticed. She stood there with her phone in her hand, watching me fold a shirt. She said Jessica told her I was overreacting. She said no one ends a marriage over one comment and a few messages. She said adults talk. I told her adults do talk. And then they act. She laughed, but it sounded thin. Her phone buzzed again. Jason's name flashed across the screen before she turned it away. She stepped into the hallway to answer, lowering her voice. I heard my name once. Then the word complicated. When she came back, she said she needed space to think. I told her that was fine. I said I would give her all the space she wanted. That night, after she fell asleep, I left the house. I did not slam the door. I did not leave a note. In the morning, she would wake up to an empty driveway and a silent phone. And this time, I would not be the one reaching out. By morning, my phone was vibrating nonstop on the motel nightstand. Emily had called more times than I could count. Her messages shifted from annoyed to confused to sharp. She wrote that I was proving her friends right. She wrote that this was childish. Then she wrote that she was worried. I did not respond. Around noon, Ryan called. He said Jason had been talking big at the office. Said he mentioned that Emily was almost free. Said he liked clean exits and easy transitions. Ryan also mentioned something else. Jason had been pushing a risky deal through his firm. Numbers that did not line up. Investors who were not fully informed. I did not ask for details. I just listened. Later that afternoon, I forwarded an anonymous tip to the compliance department of Jason's company. No accusations. Just documents that were already public, arranged in a way that raised questions. I did not sign my name. That evening, Emily texted again. She said Jason was stressed. She said his company had started reviewing one of his projects out of nowhere. She said he was in a bad mood and not answering her the way he usually did. I read the message and turned my phone face down. I was not trying to ruin him. I was removing the illusion of stability she had leaned on. That night, for the first time since the party, Emily sent one simple message. She asked where I was. I did not tell her where I was. Instead, I drove back into town a few days later and met Ryan for coffee near Emily's office. I did not go home. I did not call her. I just moved quietly through the same streets like a visitor. Ryan told me Jason's deal had been frozen pending review. Investors were asking questions. Senior partners were involved. Jason had stopped bragging. That afternoon, Emily's sister, Megan, called me. She said Emily had shown up at their parents' house in tears. She said Emily kept repeating that things had gone too far. She said Jessica had stopped answering her calls. I thanked Megan for letting me know and wished her well. Later, I saw photos online from a small office gathering. Jason was in the background, not smiling. Comments underneath asked what had happened to the big promotion energy. No one mentioned Emily. That evening, I finally responded to her message from days ago. I wrote that we should talk about separating finances and the house. Her reply came instantly. She said that was not what she meant when she suggested a breakup. She said it had been a test, something her friends encouraged. She said she thought I would fight for her. I read it twice. Then I asked her to meet me in a public place the next day. For the first time since the party, she did not sound confident. She sounded alone. We met at a quiet restaurant near the river, the kind of place where no one pays attention unless voices rise. I arrived first. When Emily walked in, she looked smaller than I remembered. She sat across from me and placed her phone on the table like she wanted me to see it. The screen stayed dark. She said her friends had pushed her into the idea. She said they told her a strong marriage should survive a scare. She said she never thought I would actually leave. I listened without interrupting. She mentioned Jason only after I did not react. She said it had been harmless at first. She said she liked the attention. She said it made her feel wanted. She insisted it never meant anything serious. I told her I had seen the messages. Her shoulders dropped. She did not argue about what they said. She did not deny the hotel. She just said she thought she could control it. I asked her if she still believed I would not survive without her. She shook her head. Around us, people were eating, talking, living their normal evenings. No one was watching. No one cared. When the check came, I paid and stood up. She reached for my hand and asked if we could go home and talk privately. I told her there was nothing private left to say. Then I walked out again, and this time she followed me into the parking lot. In the parking lot, the air felt heavier than inside. Emily stood a few steps away from my car, like she was afraid to come closer. She said she had ended things with Jason. She said his situation at work had changed him. She said he had stopped answering her messages the way he used to. I did not ask for proof. She said she realized she had been chasing a feeling, not a person. She said she had believed her friends when they told her I was too steady, too safe, too predictable. She admitted she wanted to see me fight. She wanted to feel chosen. I told her I had chosen her every day without making a show of it. She started crying then, not loudly, not dramatically, just quiet tears that made it hard for her to finish sentences. She said she had not expected silence from me. She said the silence felt worse than anger. I opened my car door, but did not get in. She asked if I was really going to end our marriage over a mistake. I told her it was not one mistake. It was a series of decisions she made while assuming I would always stay. She stepped closer and said she did not want to lose her husband over something that started as a test. I looked at her for a long moment, and then I told her I was filing the paperwork. The paperwork moved faster than she expected. Within days, she was served at the house. Not at work, not in public, quietly, in the kitchen where she once joked about testing me. Megan called again. She said Emily had stopped going out with Jessica. She said the friend group had grown quiet. No more speeches about independence. No more jokes about weak husbands. Ryan texted me that Jason's review had turned into a formal investigation. He was no longer leading his project. His name had disappeared from the company website. No one was celebrating him anymore. I did not respond to any of it. Emily asked to meet one more time before the first court date. We met at the same restaurant by the river. She did not try to touch my hand this time. She said she had replayed that night at Mark's house over and over. She said she could see now how proud she looked. How certain. She said she mistook calm for weakness. She admitted she had told Jason that I would never actually leave. She said she thought I was too invested, too loyal, too comfortable to risk everything. I let her speak. When she finished, she asked if there was anything she could do to stop it. Outside, the river moved the same way it always had. Inside, she waited for an answer I had already given her with my silence. I did not answer her right away. Emily sat across from me, hands folded like she was trying to hold herself together. The confidence she carried at Mark's house was gone. No audience. No friends. No side conversations feeding her certainty. She said she had moved her things into the guest room. She said the house felt different without my car in the driveway every night. She said silence in the kitchen felt louder than any argument we ever had. I told her I had already signed my part of the paperwork. She nodded slowly, like she knew that was coming. Then she said something she had never said before. She said she had confused attention with value. She said she had believed that testing me would prove my love. Instead, it proved something about her. I watched her while she spoke. No anger. No raised voices. Just the sound of dishes clinking in the background and people living their lives around us. When she finished, I stood up. She asked if this was really the end. I told her I did not disappear. I just stopped showing up where I was not respected. I left the restaurant without looking back. This time, she did not call my name, and I did not wait to see if she would.